Hey, good morning. It's Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. I was just dancing because we're using this new StreamYard countdown ticker, and it's got some groovy dance music. Could you hear it, Amanda, from your end too?
Yes, I could, and I didn't know we could dance. So if I would have
you
known,
when in doubt, dance, right? The older we get, I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, I'm going to dance in my car with the lights and stuff.
I know, seriously. Although the older we get, I don't think anybody wants to see us dance.
Who cares?
Right.
Well, guys, I just want to say welcome to anybody who's watching. We're actually streaming on 3 networks this morning. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube Live. And I just want to welcome my very special guest, Amanda Herr. Amanda, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We were just talking about it, though. I have a puppy. So Yay. If I look tired... She's a tiny little Yorkie. She's not in the room now, but I'll grab her later and show her to you. She's adorable, but she has kept me up for 3 nights in a row. So, but I am ready to go and talk about audience.
Yeah, having a puppy is like having a baby. You know, it's kind of like starting their process all over again. But we have to see the puppy. I mean, when she told me she had a puppy, I'm like, oh, do we get to see the puppy? Where is it at? I was like looking around her room. So please do bring the puppy out to make an appearance. We would love to see her. And yes. I want to also welcome those that are watching and just, please take a moment to let us know where in the world you're joining from. If you have any pets at home, dogs or cats or anything you're watching along with, let us know that. But do let us know because we can't see you. We can see you if you leave a comment. And what I always like to do, and Amanda, you'll know because you watch the show, is I'll pop comments up on screen. So as people are leaving comments, here's one coming to us from Facebook, and here's another from Karen joining us on LinkedIn. Karen's with us on the dancing, so we're gonna have a little dance off, I think, from now on here.
All right, yeah.
And we're
that's how we're
international. Yeah, we'll have a little dance off at the end. And we're international. We have Giuseppe joining us from Italy, so we're getting comments from all over the world. So I invite you guys to please leave your comments in the comment on whatever your network, whether you're watching this live or watching us in playback. And very excited because we have a fun topic here today, guys. Are you ready for this? We're going to talk about not asking strangers for money, building relationships with digital marketing. And Amanda's an expert in this space. Amanda, before we jump into that conversation, why don't you take a few minutes, describe for us who you are, a little bit about your background, and then tell us a little bit about your company as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So I am president of Digital Desk, and Digital Desk is a virtual assistant for digital marketing. So basically what I do and what my team does is take everything off of your desk for digital marketing that you may not want to do or you may not want to learn. A lot of times small business owners or entrepreneurs are just inundated with all of the things that they need to be doing digitally because of the way that marketing has changed over the years. And they just feel like they can't get to it. So either they don't do it or they just kind of do it and then leave it and then never go back to it. So what I do is I make sure that I'm almost like a marketing director for each one of my clients. I work with nonprofits, entrepreneurs, solo business owners, small business owners, anyone that is looking for some help. And I'll do anything from, doing one sales page all the way to, like I said, being your marketing director. So it's a lot of fun for me because I'm a total nerd, complete nerd. So everything that my clients don't like to do, I love to do. So I always say I will take it off of your desk so that you can actually get back to what you love. So that's what Digital Desk truly is. And I do have assistants and people that help me because, we want to make sure that we get all of your stuff back to you as soon as possible. So my background, though, is kind of different. It's a little interesting. I spent, I'm going to age myself, but 27 years in advertising marketing. 17 of those years were at CNN. So when I left there, I was their vice president of advertising sales. So that was exciting. I got to do things like open up for Anderson Cooper at the sales meeting and travel all over the place. And the presidential election. I've been, wanted by the Secret Service. But I left there because I decided I wanted to start my own company, and that was about 7 years ago. And when I left, I decided to create something that I could actually help those people who may not be able to hire a large agency. So that's kind of over the years, we've morphed a little bit, but it's kind of how Digital Desk was born. So, and I love what I do now. I love CNN, but I have to say I love Digital Desk more. So
that's fun. And isn't it amazing and empowering to be your own boss too, Amanda, after having worked for companies and been on the leadership team? Isn't it amazing to be your own boss too? Yeah.
It truly is. And I will say there's so many people that call me and say, how did you do it? And I say, I just did it. I trusted myself. I had the confidence in my talents, and I did it. And you know what's really great, Brenda, and I know that you'll agree with me because you're such a giver, is that you can help so many people really just take their businesses to the next level, take their careers to the next level. And I also get to bring on people who are very, very talented and give them, in this time of COVID or in this time of change in marketing, give them an opportunity to maybe work from home and do something that they love and actually be home with, you know, their families or whatever, even outside of this pandemic. So it's been very rewarding for me, not just from the standpoint of I get to nerd out because that's rewarding, but also because I can help other people. And when I feel like I'm not helping somebody or doing something that makes a difference, I'm just not as happy. So
yeah, not as fulfilled. And I totally get it. And I think you and I are on that same kind of vibe level with using our gifts and talents to help others. And it feels like fun. Like some days I get to the end of the day and I'm like, did I actually do any work today? I mean, I did, but it doesn't feel like work. It's not like heavy, stressful work. It's more like productive. And when you get that email from a client or a LinkedIn recommendation or a Facebook review saying, oh my gosh, you've helped me so much in my business, and more eloquently, of course, but it's like, well, that's why I do this. Absolutely. That's why I do what I do. Right. So very exciting.
Right. Absolutely. So, yeah.
So guys, when I invited Amanda to come on my show, and I was actually on her show too, we were kind of exchanging, we were like, hey, let's come on each other's. And I'll put the link later so you can watch the playback of that interview. But I said, what do you want to talk about? And I said, the more creative the title, the better. And she said, let's talk about, never asking a stranger for money. And I'm like, ooh, right away. My curiosity has been piqued. So let's jump into this conversation here, Amanda. People that are watching right now, maybe they are trying to use advertising or different platforms to reach people to do business, and they're asking for money in the way of buying my products and services. So why shouldn't we ask strangers for money?
Well, does it work for you in person? Because if it does, I want to know what you do, because I need to get that going. But you wouldn't just walk up to somebody that you don't know and go, give me $100 and expect them to give you $100, correct? And if they, like I said, if they do, I want to know your secret. This is what I find. I've been teaching for years now for small businesses over at the college, but also this is what I find with all of the people that I start talking to when I go speak. They will put up an ad and they will say, okay, buy my product. And they expect it to just fly off the shelves, or their services to just, they're going to get so many people that want their service. And if I've never heard of you before, I am not buying your product. And I don't care how cheap the product is or how expensive the product is or how much I need that product. If I have not heard of you before, it's not happening. So that's what I mean. So that's my favorite. That's kind of, the first thing that I lead with when I talk to all of my clients is you never ask a stranger for money. And what I mean by that is you need to cultivate a relationship. Digital marketing is not like traditional marketing. Everyone wants to kind of like fall back on, okay, awareness. Awareness is really important, but so is familiarity and frequency, making sure that people get comfortable with you and make sure that people know who you are. Because unlike traditional marketing and advertising, digital marketing and advertising is personal. I have decided to stop and pay attention to what you have to say. And I am the one choosing to interact with your brand. And I can say whatever I want because I'm not really in front of you right now. So it's a personal thing. So how do you build that relationship? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Like, how exactly can I build a relationship when I am digital? I'm just like right now, a face and a head on an interview, right? So there's a couple of different ways. One of the things that we want to make sure that we're doing is that we're encompassing a conversation, like really just enveloping this lead that we have in a conversation and leaning in and making it as personal as we possibly can. So what does that look like? that looks like faces. That doesn't look like just amorphous posts with beautiful graphics. While beautiful graphics play a role, they can't be the only thing that you see. And when you're doing a beautiful graphic, you should always try to incorporate a real person of some sort. So
wait, not a stock photo? Because I see stock photos on there, and people are using, and it's like the the fun, it's like models, right? That'll be our
excuse me, like no. Yeah, what you want to do is try to show who you are, who your company is, and who your brand is. A lot of people use stock photos. I've used stock photos. I'm raising my hand. I am not gonna lie, I have used them, but time and time and again, I get more traction when I am honest and I'm just using photos of real people. And the reason why is because the person that's behind that one screen, the one person behind this one screen, it's not a television screen, wants to see themselves in that image. And the reason is because it's about me. I always say, other than my second one, other than never ask a stranger for money, is it's not about me, or it's not about you, it's about me. So basically every picture, everything that you write, every piece of copy, every product that you put out, you need to tell me why I should care. Because if you're not going to let me know why I should care about you and your brand and your product or your service, why would I ever come back, and why would I ever engage with you again? And you need to have multiple engagement points. It used to be back in the day, and I'll admit I was alive during this time, that there were 3 television broadcast stations, right? Yeah. So it used to take about 3 times for your brand to have to interact with someone to get them to actually do something, okay? And now it can take more than 20. And the reason for that is because we're inundated with messaging constantly. We can't even go to the bathroom at a restaurant without someone trying to sell us something. And I think we all just want to go to a restaurant now, right? But anyway, someone's always trying to sell us something. So there's so much clutter, so much input, right? So how do we break through that? And how do we make it so that we have, number 1, a personal conversation, number 2, having frequency, so that we're breaking through the clutter. So that's kind of like the setup for what we're talking about. First thing that you need to do is to find your audience. You don't want to be on every platform. And I know people are shocked when they hear that. Everyone thinks that the newest and coolest, craziest thing is where you should be. No. First of all, if you don't have time to be on one platform, why are you on 5? Also, if your potential or your target market isn't on the platform that you're on, why are you there? You don't have time for that, right? And they don't have time for you. So make sure that you're looking at different pieces of research, or make sure that even just on your own insights on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, that you're looking and you're seeing, are you getting the right audience? Are these people who are actually going to purchase or care about your product? And if they're not, do not spend your time there, because you want to take all of that effort that you're putting forth on the ones that aren't working and put it on the one that is working. Okay.
So can I ask a question on that, Amanda? What are your thoughts on, should we as business owners, or if there's small business owners that are watching, or even larger corporations that are watching this, should we claim the page so that somebody else doesn't take our name? I mean, I think about your business Digital Desk, and, should we at least, if we're not going to be active on TikTok, should we set up a TikTok account with our business name, and then at least say, please visit us on, and then insert preferred platform here. Please visit us on Facebook to learn more. Should we do that, or not even bother with that step? What do you think?
Well, first of all, if your client's never going to be on TikTok, then I don't think so. And here's why. Because from a search engine optimization standpoint, social signals are playing a larger role. And when I say social signals, that means who's interacting with you on the platform. So who's interacting with you on Facebook? If your Facebook page is just sitting there and no one's engaging, you're not using it, and it's just a dead weight and you're parking yourself, that is going to tell Google and Bing different things. So that it's giving them a social signal that you are not like someone that somebody's going to care about. That's a brand that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Now, if it's TikTok, I would say if your client's never going to be there, don't do it. If it's LinkedIn, your client may be there at some point, and it's also tied very closely to Google, as you know, right? So like Google results, so you're going to want to park that if you're not going to use it, but at least go in there and try to like use it once a week. I mean, it's not going to take that much. LinkedIn's very important. Facebook, I would say on Facebook, I don't know if I would even do that, to be honest, because Facebook sometimes will create a page for you, but also someone's going to look for it and they're going to see your brand and it's going to look horrible. One thing you could do though is grab that name and then just not publish the page. So if you're going to do it, don't publish your page on Facebook.
Okay.
Twitter, you can grab it, but I mean, I'm not a big Twitter fan, so depends on if your client's there. Twitter's 18 to 34. Is your client there? If so, then grab it. Okay.
And I'm going to, while we're speaking of Facebook, I'm going to pull up your Facebook, Amanda. I hope you don't mind me jumping in just to point it out, because you do a great job on Facebook. And I want to encourage people, if you're not already following Digital Desk, to make sure I'll tag her in the Facebook feed later on so you guys can go there. But go look her up because she does a really great job of demonstrating what a live Facebook page should look like there. So check that out.
Thank you, Brenda. You're so kind. Okay, so basically what I was saying, make sure that you know where your client is going to be, because it's better to have 100 followers of people who actually are going to buy your product and that care about what you're posting or what you're offering than 1,000 people who are just your mother's brother's dog's barber. Because here's why. While the algorithm will tell you, the algorithm on Facebook or Instagram or whatever will tell you that numbers are the most important thing, I'm going to tell you that outside of the computer, it's really the quality of those numbers that is the most important. If you have 1,000 people who aren't going to do anything or just want free stuff, you will never be able to move that needle. If you have 100 people and 75 of them want your stuff and will buy it, you are golden. Much farther ahead than if you have 1,000. So while it may look sexier to have a higher number, I would prefer to have a smaller number of real people.
So let me jump in and ask another question here, Amanda. I think we're a little bit of an audio delay. I apologize. I think there's like a couple second delay here, but buying followers. I mean, it used to be something, and I still see this on Instagram nowadays. Buy followers, buy followers. I mean, I personally, I'm not a fan of, nor have I ever purchased followers. What are your thoughts there for anybody who's watching who might be saying, well, maybe I should buy some followers just so I look like I have 1,000 people liking my page? What are your thoughts there? What's the reason, the reason you might want to consider it, or what are the cons for not doing that?
Okay, great question. First of all, it's against the rules on every single platform. So if they found out that you did that so that it gets added like overnight, you went from 10 followers to 1,000 followers, they're going to figure out what you just did and you're going to get in trouble, most likely. Now, they may not catch you. They may catch you. Secondly, you're buying a bunch of people, no matter what they tell you about the demographics, that don't really care. And you're also buying people and they didn't give you permission. They didn't make that personal choice to follow you. So they're just going to be passive anyway. And they're not worth it. It looks sexy, but it is not good. Plus, when you want to do a lookalike audience on, for ads, you're going to get a lookalike of all these people that you just purchased and none of them are your client, right? So you're going to just waste all this money. First, and so it's against the rules. I'm not a rule breaker. B, it's just going to mess up, and then it's going to mess up your entire audience, and you're going to spend a long time trying to fix that because you're going to want to use you're going to want to use that audience in order to market to. Which brings me to actually this point. you want to, again, like I said, frequency. So not only do you want to find them, but you want to continue a conversation with them. How do you do that so you're not just talking to a cold market all the time? Here's how. You create audiences. So with Facebook and with Instagram, you can create what they call a custom audience, and you can have a continuous conversation with the same person over and over again and get them used to who you are and what you're doing. And how you do that with these custom audiences is you create a lookalike audience off of the people who follow your page, and then you create an audience of everyone who's engaged with your page, so that you're, first of all, feeding your page, and then you're actually taking that secondary audience that's already come to your page and then having another conversation with them. And then you can do another ad where, and these are ads that I'm talking about. So
okay, I was going to ask if
lookalike
this is a post, or this is like you can't just post and share to these people. You're talking about creating a segment that you're serving ads to. So it's a very highly targeted group, right?
Very highly targeted. Thank you. Yeah. You used to be able to do it with posts. Now you can't. So you'll do an ad, and that first ad is going to cost you a little bit more money because you're talking to a wider group. All right. So this Facebook and Instagram ad, because you do them both through the same platform now, you have this wider group, and you send it to people who are lookalikes of the people who currently like your page. Now, if you don't have anybody that likes your page yet, then you can just pick the right audience and then build it that way. Okay. Then you're going to create another custom audience that actually is people who have interacted with your page. So now this audience, I'm going like this. You can't see the audience. Now it's like this.
I'll make you wise because you're a hand talker. You need the space.
Yeah, right? I'm a hand talker. And I'm not even Italian. So now I'm dancing. But so then this wider audience becomes more targeted. Okay, so these are the people who have interacted with your page. They know you. So you don't, this first audience that we're building, people that interacted with our page, you kind of have to have a more like generic kind of conversation with them because they've never heard of you before. Right. This, where they've interacted with your Facebook page and you want to target them with an ad, now you can have a warmer conversation with them, and you can be a little bit more personal and lean into them a little bit more because you can actually know that they know who you are and what your services are. Then what you can do is maybe a video ad. If you do a video ad, then you can actually target those people with this video ad that have interacted with your Facebook page. The next ad, then you target those people who saw that video. And so do you see what I'm doing here? I'm going from a very wide audience to a niche audience to an even more niche audience to a micro audience. So what that does for me is I am starting a conversation, right? And continuing that conversation as I go. Plus, I'm spending less money.
Yeah.
Right. So like I dig when I spend less money. I'm sure everybody else does too. So I always get these questions of, Amanda, Facebook ads don't work. That's untrue. Facebook ads do work, but you need to be able to use them in a way that A, you're not going to break the bank, and B, that you're having an actual conversation with the right people. And that's, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it outside of that, but that is basically the key and the what you need to remember. So as you're building these audiences and these custom audiences and you're having this conversation, another thing that you need to remember is you need to make sure that you're telling the computer that is Facebook and Instagram. Then I'm focusing there right now because Ads Manager in Facebook is by far the best place to do your ads for any that I've found. But you have to tell it what you want it to do. So if I tell the computer of Facebook Ads Manager that I want to have brand awareness, then I'm going to get brand awareness. If I tell the Facebook computer Ads Manager that I want to get clicks, then I'm going to get clicks. But I can't tell it that I want, clicks and then get mad that I didn't get brand awareness.
Okay.
I'm going to pay more for brand awareness and less for clicks. You have to tell it what you want. So if I want them to go into my cart and target people who are going to actually purchase something, I have to tell Facebook's ad manager, that's what I want. So if you don't sell anything and you ran a Facebook ad and you didn't use a conversion,
Right.
that's not Facebook's fault. That's kind of your fault.
What's a conversion? I've heard of them. There might be some people going, a what? A who? A what? Is that the pixel thing or pixie thing or whatever that thing is? What is that? What does a conversion mean?
Yeah. Okay. So let me just go back. So now we found our audience and we're starting to bring them closer in, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's something called a pixel, and a pixel is literally just one pixel. So like, on your screen and all the little dots that make up a screen, that's a pixel. So it's one little piece of code that's put onto your website. All right. So the pixel allows for you to track people when they get to your website, but it also allows for you to optimize your Facebook ads to get people to do whatever you want them to do. There's 9 different types of conversions that Facebook will set up for you just automatically when you use a pixel. One of them is to get people to add product to your cart. Another one is to get people to purchase. Another one is just to get them to click on a button. So there's 9 different types of things. And what it does is it allows when you do an ad on Facebook and Instagram, by the way, that it will actually tell the computer, go find me people who are more likely to actually purchase my product. And when I want you to optimize my ad to get them to click the purchase button. Okay. So now your ad is literally focused specifically on your niche micro target that you just built. And the computer is then focused specifically on getting them to purchase your product. So if you're spending $100 and you're getting nothing, it's probably, and you're expecting to sell product and you're not using a conversion ad, you're just kind of wasting $100. So to learn on how to do this, I'm actually I don't know if you want me to talk about this now, but to learn how to do this, I have a that's called The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Ads, and it's $125. However, I have a sweepstakes that is only for you guys that are watching. So I'm not posting this anywhere else. It's specifically just for Brenda's audience. And it is where you can go in and the address, I think, is on the ticker or will be on the ticker. There you go. So if you go to this URL, you can actually put yourself in. I'm going to give away 2 memberships to this Facebook course. And this Facebook course literally is the ultimate guide. I looked around when I first started. I couldn't find anything that gave me soup to nuts. This is soup to nuts. And it also talks about business manager, which again is a whole nother conversation, but it takes all this confusing stuff like that. You're just like, what is she talking about? Why, what's a pixel? I explain it all. Like it's all there. There's, and if you have questions, you can always reach out to me at amanda@higherdigitaldesk.com. I'm always willing to help and answer questions, but go ahead and enter this, I guess a sweepstakes is what I'm calling it. And 2 people that enter will actually get this course that is very comprehensive for free. So, and if you wanted to get the URL to purchase the course, you can always reach out to me as well, and I can send you that link.
Okay, very good. So, and I heard you say a little bit earlier too, if you're spending $100 on ads. Now, one thing I would give you 2 questions here. Sometimes you see like your post is doing well on your business page, and Facebook's like, hey, you want to get more people? Spend $5 and promote your post or sponsor your post. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I've heard some people saying, you're not going to be able to get results with spending only $100 a month on Facebook ads. You've got to spend $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and you've got to put a good chunk of change in there. So help us to understand that. First, should you sponsor a post if Facebook's coming after you and going, hey, you should sponsor? And then is there a minimum amount people need to spend to see results in their Facebook ads?
I love your questions. First, I would say Facebook's always going to want you to spend money. Okay, so they're in it to make money. And as much as they will tell you that they're doing things or creating things to help you, that's great, but they're a business. They also have stock. They need people to be happy. So they're going to try to get you to run an ad for a post and tell you that you're going to get more awareness. Well, first of all, if you run $5 ad, you're going to get $5 worth of results, which isn't much. But also, if you are just starting, let's say, or if you don't know what you're doing when you're doing a Facebook ad, it's going to be $5 that's wasted. So if you spend $5 and you kind of know what you're doing, do you want to do it? Probably not either way, but I'm just saying it's better if you know what you're doing. So don't do it is my point. Hundreds, 500. First of all, you're going to spend more money when you're building that wider audience. So as you're building your audience, and brand awareness always has a place, but when you're first starting out and you want to create more brand awareness, you're going to spend more because you're going to want more people to get to your Facebook page or your website or whatever. But as you're kind of getting to that place where people have visited your website, you've got your conversions down, you've got your pixel down, and that stuff starts to happen, you're going to start spending less. So in the beginning, maybe $500 is going to be needed. If you have $1,000, to me, that's a ton of money to be spending on Facebook ads in a month. And if you have it, good for you. Most of my clients don't. $500 is pretty much what they have. But once you start building that very targeted audience and you start having a conversation, you're going to get more organic reach. And so you're going to need to do less. Plus, you're going to be able to advertise specifically to the people that are going to actually engage and purchase your service or your product. So you're going to spend less. So I have one client that, I do $150 a week for him on ads. And it's because we're still trying to grow. We're still trying to get that brand awareness. We're still trying to get his custom audiences nice and tight, right? I have another client that I'll do $75 a week, and we get a ton from that. Also, the types of ads that you're using will play a giant role in how much you need to spend. If you're doing a post push, you're going to spend less. And there's a place for post pushes. I'm not a big giant fan of them. It's kind of lazy, I think, sometimes.
What is a post push? Let's just assume someone watching is like a who, what? A post push? What is that?
Yeah.
What is that mean?
That's when they say, hey, your post is awesome. Would you like to boost your post? Right? So, yeah. And there's a place and a time, but what you want to do is I would never boost a post for brand awareness, ever. And here's why.
Like a post push is like Facebook going like this on your post, right? It's Facebook going, hey, we like it, and we want you to post this, and you're going to reach millions of people. They're going to love you. Like, you're like,
exactly.
Really? You like my post? Here's $5.
I can be famous. I can go viral. What? Yes. Yeah. No. What you want to do is brand awareness. You should be, using an actual ad. So the type of ad that you want to do is probably video. Video is going to be your best bet for brand awareness. But when you do video, you're going to want it to have captions on it. Okay. So, so I'm trying to think of the name. There is, I'm going to put it, I'll give it to you, Brenda. There's actually an app
that I use. I use rev.com, rev.com is the one that I use. I know there's free ones too, though. Rev, you have to pay I think it's 25 cents per minute of automated, or if you get a human being, it's like $1.25 a minute. But here's my 50 cents for my 2-minute video. I don't care. Take my money and it's transcribed already. But yeah, if anybody watching today is aware of transcription services that are free or low cost, drop it in the comments. I know Carrie Lazette, she does video for her living. Carrie probably knows of a few tools of the trade that she could drop. But yeah, definitely, man, if you can drop that to me later, I'll add it to the video comments.
Well, and I will say that I just bought from AppSumo, and I'm forgetting the name. I will give it to you, but it's I paid $49 lifetime ownership AI, and it's awesome. It's better than Rev. And I used to use Rev all the time. So I will give that to you as well. But captions on your video is very important. So video is going to be the best for brand awareness. Now, don't boost a post, which is what Facebook keeps telling you that they want you to do for $5. Yeah. Don't do that until you have already kind of said hello to someone. So they're not a stranger anymore. So once you're building that larger audience, you can boost your post because only 2% of your Facebook audience is going to normally organically see your stuff in their feed. So then you can start maybe pushing it a little bit, but not for $5, but you push it a little bit into your audience that has already said hello to you, you've said hello, and you're continuing that conversation. So that's when you would want to use something like that as you go along. But back to the how much do I spend? It's really, there's so many different factors. It's what are you trying to do? Do you have an audience already? What is your overall budget? Don't go get a loan from the bank because you want to do Facebook ads. Don't do it. There's ways to organically grow. So you want to make sure that you know exactly what your goals are. Your key performance indicator is going to be, is it clicks, whatever, before you even go into the ads manager and try to create something. And that's what I go through all of this in that course, so that people really can just watch it over, and they have lifetime ownership, so they can watch it over and over again, and these things will start to make sense for them. But outside of that, I do want to mention, this was about, don't ask a stranger for money. So Facebook and Instagram ads is one way that you can continue the conversation, but don't shy away from a freebie of some sort. Try to get where you are able to get someone to give you their information, and never ask them, if it's first name, last name, email address, great. First name, last name, email address, and phone number, they're probably going to lie to you. If you ask them anything, I had somebody ask me my annual income. I was like, you are crazy.
I always put like 5 million. If they're going to ask me how much money I make, I'm going to make it up anyways. I either tell them $200 total for the year or 5 million. You get nothing other than that.
Yes, I am a rock star. Yes. Right. So you want to, if you can give them a freebie, it's all about providing solutions. So don't forget about, getting someone's email address, getting them part of your newsletter, giving them some sort of a free guide, making sure that you are the place that they turn to for the solution to whatever digital marketing problem, or whatever problem, for me it's digital marketing, but whatever problem you are there to solve. Because when they get to a point they need someone, maybe they don't need you now, but they're going to get to that point if they're the right audience. You want to be the one that they come to. So don't be afraid to answer the question. Don't be afraid to answer, to give them an e-guide, which again, I also have an e-guide that I can give you. But all of this plays a role in enveloping that person in the ecosystem that is your brand. And if you can do that with emails, with Facebook and Instagram, organic posting, meaning free posts, ads, making sure that your SEO is nice and tight, your search engine optimization. I have a free course that they can do on that. But SEO needs to be tight. You have to make sure that if you want to be found for digital marketing, that's on your website. Because believe it or not, guys, I can't tell you how many times people who say that they're digital marketers don't have those two words on their website. They have social media marketing. So I'm not even joking. It's so true. So making sure that your SEO is tight, and there's things that you can do yourself, by the way, that can do that. You don't have to hire someone, even though you can hire me. But a lot of my clients or my students will tell me that someone called them and told them that they would do something for $250 a month that's going to make their search engine optimization phenomenal and get them to #1 on Google search. That's BS, excuse my language, but B, there are things that either myself, my team, or you can do for free on your side that would actually help you raise your game on SEO. And I have a webinar video. If you're interested, email me at amanda@higherdigitaldesk.com. I will give it to you. And it'll run you through like 15 different things you can do on your own. But that way you're not talking to strangers all the time. You're able to get someone to start to interact with you. Once they give you their information or say hello, it's time for you to nurture. So you do that with your social, you do that with your email, all of that. So SEO brings them in the door, brings all the boys to the yard, right? And then you use all these other tools in order to support them, provide solution, and envelope them in your brand.
Awesome. Well, this has been this is like a little bit of a crash course, and I've even picked up some great tips from you Amanda. Thank you so much. And we're reaching the end of our interview together, but I do want to invite people, if you do have any questions for Amanda, please drop them in the comments below. We can take your questions now. But also, we're live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, but you may be watching this in a playback later on. And if you are, still drop your questions in there, because I'll give Amanda the links to the playback so she can come back later and answer your questions. Or if you want her to reach out to you, she can email you and help you out. But definitely, use this as an opportunity for free advice from Amanda. So if you have any questions about anything, and I've already asked her a few, and I've learned some great things from Amanda. But please use this opportunity to ask her any questions, or use the playback link to reach out to her. You've got her email and a couple of the web links that have been up on screen. And as we start to wrap the conversation here today, Amanda, I want to show folks a few things. One, I want to pull up your LinkedIn URL. I'm trying to navigate to it right now in the background here, so give me just a second. But I'm going to pull up your LinkedIn URL up on screen. What is your personal philosophy on connecting with people on LinkedIn? Are you open to accepting any and all invitations, only if they include a note, if they're a good fit? Or tell us a little bit about that if they're reaching out to you on LinkedIn to connect.
Yeah, so if they reach out on LinkedIn to connect, I do connect with most people. I will tell you that there are people I will not connect with, because I know that they're just trying to sell me something. I am not a big fan of the LinkedIn cold message. That's just not, I probably get 5 a day. So I love connecting with people who are like-minded, who are interested in what I have to say, but also I'm interested in what they have to say. And I am a little choosy sometimes, because I don't have it turned off that they can't get to my other contacts. So I do know that, some people come my way and I'll say no, but if it was anybody from this, or anybody that I can look at and see and know that they know you, or know that, they're coming and they're like honest or honestly wanting to engage as two people who are in business, then absolutely I accept those.
Awesome. And when you guys do reach out, I'm showing her profile up on screen. She's got such great brand consistency too, doesn't she? I mean, you see her photo, her likeness, her imagery, and it's Amanda as a real person. It's not like the stock photo. And sometimes I see people using cartoony images, and that works if that's your brand. Amanda's a real person, and what you see is what you get. And I love her brand consistency. I got to say too, Amanda, we both like pink. So I immediately love you as a person because we both like pink. And, it works really well. But check out her LinkedIn.
You're not wearing your hat.
If it was close by, it's across the room. If it was close by, I would put it on right now. But what I will say is, if you do visit Amanda's profile, mention that you watched her on today's LinkedIn Live. Tell her something that was helpful to you in your invitation to connect. Hey, I saw you on LinkedIn Live. I learned the tip about, paying for ads, or something. Like, tell her something in your invitation. Mention that you watched her on LinkedIn on the live video here today, and you might increase your, likelihood that she'll accept it. And if you do need her services, I can't say enough good things. I only bring people on my show if I believe in who they are as human beings and in what they do. And I started this series originally, such a LinkedIn Live, but then I called it Social Media Pie, because I invite inspiring people to inform and educate you. So I hand select people like Amanda, who I know are going to bring value to me and to my network. So I'm really just delighted to have you on here today, Amanda. And as we start to wrap the conversation, I want to give you the opportunity. Any final comments you'd like to offer to the group, shout outs, tips, or anything otherwise before we wrap?
All I would say is, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I would love to hear from everybody. And I'm going to put a link into this when we're done for this free e-guide that will go over everything as well. So make sure to go ahead and enter the sweepstakes for the free membership of the course, but also you can click on this other link that will give you an e-guide that to everything I said, but in even more detail. And I do have some Pew Research in there as well. So it's going to help you really understand how to make clients, from strangers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. It was a delightful conversation.
Yeah.
Great. Well, guys, before you leave today, or I should say as soon as the video ends, if you could go back to the video and click share this video on your preferred social media, whether it is Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or any of these sites. please share it along with someone. You never know who you're going to help by sharing the video along and help to spread some of the knowledge and insights that Amanda shared with each of us today. And then I would also encourage you to go to mellermarketing.com and subscribe and join my VIP email list where you'll get notifications about future LinkedIn Live Social Media Pie interviews. And I also will share with you some LinkedIn strategy tips in there as well. So thank you, Amanda, for joining today. So where's the puppy? We talked about a puppy. Is the puppy going to make an appearance?
She's not in the room. She's not in the room. She's gone. So unless I get up and go get her, I'll post a picture of her later.
Please do that. Yeah, post it. And congratulations on the puppy. How old is she now?
8 weeks.
Oh, so she's little.
She's tiny, and she's a toy Yorkie. So she's extremely tiny. So she's got a little bell on, so you know where she is. That's why I'm at home in the studio. So yeah.
That's awesome. We're thinking about getting a dog too. We're looking at we want to get an adult dog, one that's been potty trained already, but we're kind of, I think a lot of people, because we're spending so much time at home, I'm like, this would be the perfect time to have a pet to get them acclimated to the environment while we're all still here, right? And a little extra companionship wouldn't be a problem either.
Yeah, and you know what? I have rescued all of my dogs up until Nora, this new dog. And I will say, when you rescue a dog that needs a home, it's just such a fulfilling thing, and it's also fulfilling with Nora as well. But I do, if you have an older dog that's potty trained and isn't 8 weeks old, it might be a really good idea.
You'll look back someday and go, what was I thinking? But right now, I mean, that's why, God makes kids cute too, because then the sleepless nights are all worthwhile, because when the puppy is probably cuddling with you on your lap, you're like, oh, your heart just breaks a little bit because it's such a sweet thing, right?
I love her. I do. I do love her. And that is why God made her cute.
There you go. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching us today. If you haven't left a comment yet, please leave a comment before you leave the video. Let Amanda know that she was awesome and amazing, because I thought she was awesome and amazing, and I thought she had some really great tips for us today. And I love the power of positive feedback. I think we need more positivity in the world, and you guys can all be a part of that by leaving a positive comment in the post before you leave. So with that, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching us online, and we'll see you online again later on this week. Take care. Thank you.